Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. While we continue our week of learning, we ask you to please continue davening for Chaylei Tzva Gan Yisrael, for Shlom Chol Petzua Yisrael, safety of our brothers and sisters in Israel during these difficult moments. And we learn each day L'ilui Nishmat Seren Daniel Shimon ben Harav Doron V'Shel Shem Gam Damo. Next chapter. This is someone of great interest. Question that always comes up: Shmiya muzika memachshir chashmali beiti. Yesh omrim shekmosha asul lishmo klei negina b'hofa achaya b'shlosha sashvos. So some say that just as it is forbidden to listen to live music during the 3 weeks, kach asul lishamam derech machshir chashmal beitim. The same prohibition would apply to electronic devices within one's own home. V'rak shmiya shirim below livei kol klei. The only thing that one is allowed to listen to, the only music, is something without musical accompaniment, so what we would call a cappella. This would apply during Sfira and apply during the 3 weeks. And he quotes from many of the great poskim, notably the Igros Moshe Feinstein and Yechavadas Rabbi Avad Yosef Zecher Tzadik Levracha. Both Zecher Tzadik Levracha. And some say that you can't even listen to any music, any sort of singing, even if there's no musical accompaniment, even a cappella, if it's on a electronic device. In other words, no music whatsoever, even a cappella, and that comes from Rabbi Waldenberg from the Tzitz Eliezer. However, there are those that are lenient, and they're allowed to listen through electronic devices. Because they hold that the prohibition applies to live music, because live music brings a certain amount of celebration. But just listening to music on the radio or recorded or nowadays on any single device doesn't have the same amount of celebratory effect. So therefore, when we started producing first songs on the radio, and you can see that the first thing it says tape, that's how it says in Hebrew, tet yud yud pei, ha-tape, tape harishonim, if those in the audience are old enough to remember what tapes are. So when these things first came out, it was a big deal to be able to listen to music on demand. But nowadays, it's so ubiquitous, everybody has it, it's all over the place, there's no such great simcha in it, and therefore, it would seem there's no prohibition. And also, one has to differentiate between a nigun, a song that is of simcha, versus one that is just a regular song. Only songs that are of great joy are prohibited during these days. But regular songs, and certainly more so, how much more so, sad songs, we don't prohibit during the 3 weeks. The Gemara in Shabbos and Daf Kufnim Aleph teaches us that even the time of the funerals in Talmudic times, they would have certain instruments that they would play that would arouse these types of feelings of crying and pain over the loss. And this is part of the mitzvah of escorting the dead body. So there's no real isser of listening, there's no prohibition of listening to the instruments themselves, but the prohibition was listening to music of joy. So here's one of the amazing times that Rav Melamed quotes his father. He says, I heard this from my father. It's not only is it allowed to listen to sad songs, even with instrumentation, via electronic devices during the 9 days. But he says it's actually probably there's a benefit to doing this because it helps arouse these feelings of appreciating and understanding and mourning over the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. So Lamaisa, practically speaking, what do we do? Let's divide songs, music into three categories. The first is Hushirei Simcha. Kedukmat Shirei Chasana. These are songs of simcha, like songs you would play at a wedding. Shemayahem yesh lihimonam mitchila shlosha shavua. One should refrain from these from the beginning of the 3 weeks. Hasheni, the second category, is shirim she'ein behem lo simcha miyuchedes v'lo atzev miyuchedes. Songs that are neither overly joyous or overly sad. U'b'lechalam rov hashirim kayam. And most songs today fall into this category. V'chein horov ha'yitziras v'ha'klasiot u'mihem yesh liwanim v'resh chodesh av. And most classic music, all the old-time songs, however you want to refer to them, the classics, these one should refrain from already from the 9 days, but up until the 9 days you could listen. Hashlishi, the third category is that shirim atzuvim kedugma shiri avel al adam shemeis al chorban, songs of mourning, songs of sadness, which we would say in mourning over someone who has died or on the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, she'osa mutar lishmo gam b'tishas hayamim, which those you could even listen to during the 9 days. Odnira, it seems further apparent, shekasher shomiim muzika b'kol ram, that when you listen to music at a full volume, gam kasher hi stamit, even just regular plain music, hotzman notenes l'shir chagiyot. So sometimes it allows you to sing along. It wants you to sing along. Baru nasik shir shel simcha, and it creates simcha. You ever hum along with a song or you sing along the words? So that creates simcha. So even though it might be allowed to listen to these types of songs during the 3 weeks, you shouldn't listen to them too loudly. He says, similarly, you shouldn't attend a concert, a musical concert, even if it's sad, and he says he's, in the parentheses, you have to read the word, it's requiem, a requiem, during the 3 weeks. Even though this is sad music, going to a concert, going to a gathering where the live music is played, is considered in and of itself something that brings joy. However, if you're having some sort of cultural gathering, you can play music, let's say, to lend to the atmosphere of the gathering. And even during the 9 days, one is allowed to listen to songs that are sad and that express the pain that we have over the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, or songs that will help us to study Torah, to build the land of Israel, to build the nation. Very, very long note here in number 3, and he lists all the different shitas, who says what, and what is it that we have to do. So you have to kind of find your comfort level, and also the question that comes up, let's say a person is driving, and can you listen to music while you're driving to prevent yourself from falling asleep, or for exercise, things like that. So in those instances, the modern-day poskim seem to be of the opinion that you're not doing this for simcha, you're doing it for a health reason or for a safety reason. Certainly that does not fall into the category of simcha and would be permitted. But again, you have to look through note 3 here. It's very long. It's almost the entire page on page 134 in my volume. So there we have it, music. So the question is, would this theme song be allowed during the 3 weeks? Ask yourself that. But please continue davening for Chayalei Yisrael and Israel, for Shalom Chol Tzvah Yisrael. Safety of brothers and sisters in Israel, Nishmat, Daniel, Shimon, Rav, the Ram, Sham, Shem, Demo. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you next time. Have a great day.